Heyo, welcome to another video. Today we're talking about Mermay. So Mermay is a 31-day monthly challenge you can do in May, and basically all you do is draw mermaids, so that's pretty fun. I haven't been drawing any mermaids for the past few weeks, so I thought today's the day where we'll tackle some mermaid designs and have fun. I decided to use a prompt list as well, so I'm just going to choose 3 of the prompts that speak to me. Pretty much just 3 ones that I want to do. And yeah, so let's get on with the video. So the first one was inspired by the prompt Cosmic. I started off simply by stating things I associate with the word cosmic. Say, stars, galaxies, the infinitely vast size of the universe we live in, and so on and so forth. This time, I decided to make a bunch of thumbnail sketch ideas. Well, to be honest, they're more like finished sketches that I would resize and draw over for the final, but anyways. These sketches are pretty much the reason why this process took so long. I think I spent around 7 to 8 hours on this specific piece, mostly because of all the planning and coloring, and I made 6 to 8 thumbnail sketches for each artwork, so yeah, let's just say this took a while. I also looked up some references on Pinterest, and these are the ideas I came up with. The first one was a simple side portrait. I was going to rely on rendering for that one to look pretty. The next one was inspired by images of the Milky Way. Instead of a massive black hole in the center, I thought, wouldn't it be cool if there was a mermaid there? And yeah, that's why there's a mermaid and her tail just spins around and around. Looks pretty cute. The third one, which is the one I ended up going with, was a mermaid chilling with her whale friend. I liked the composition, and I liked how I used the positive and negative space. I pretty much used that principle of design to help design all the thumbnails, actually. It helped with actually seeing the mermaids against the background, and it also helped to see if the compositions I made were balanced. The fourth one was going to be a mermaid with a planet in her hands. I had a lot of trouble with the tail, so I quickly abandoned that idea. The fifth one was a mermaid queen talking to a mermaid subject. I saw a couple of Greek-style arches and columns during my Pinterest research, so I wanted to try a few drawings with them in there. The sixth one was more like poster art. I wanted to try something different. If I finished it, I would have added typography. I'm not the biggest fan of typography because I personally find it really hard to make letters look interesting, but I would have tried it for that artwork. Anyways, the second last one was based on a drawing I saw. It was like a mermaid sitting in a Greek-style gazebo. I didn't go with this one because it felt like I was copying someone else's artwork too much, so yeah, I didn't use it. The last one is a massive mermaid looking at a ship sailing past. I thought it'd be cute, kind of like Tefiti in Moana. She was literally the size of an island, and I thought that was really cool. So now we're up to the lining. I played with a few brushes and I ended up liking the Real G pen on Clip Studio. I like the texture. I decided to give her scales that look like a dress. I didn't want to overcomplicate this artwork because I liked the simpleness of it. I tend to spend a lot of time in little details that nobody sees or cares about, so I was trying not to get bogged down. I also saw a drawing with this cool crown in it, so I wanted to include that in my drawing as well. But that did mean I had to redraw her head. I had to change it so it looked like she actually had a skull beneath all that hair. I mean, the drawing looks 10 times better now, so it was worth the extra effort. Yay, coloring time! I went for a purple theme because I felt like it. I used a gradient in the background and in the tail. It's a pretty simple way to make 2 colors look good together, especially in a limited color palette. I chose a top left angle for the lighting because it would take less work. I used so many brain cells in the planning stage that I didn't have enough for an interesting light source. It's alright though, it turned out very nice. I used a star brush for the skin and the tail and the background because, I'll be real, I couldn't be bothered to hand draw all the stars, so this was like a very quick shortcut. And then I just finished off the shading. I put shadows on the right side from our perspective of the body because, the light source is from the top left. And here's when I started the hair. Sometimes you try to render and it feels difficult and ugly. This is when you should take a break, people. I gave up for the day, but when I came back the next day, I just realized I should just start the hair over. And now it looks really good. Yeah, doesn't this look similar to my Sharktober one? I think it's because the colors are the same. I mean, I guess that piece has stayed with me for a long time. But anyway, here's the final product. The second prompt I did was mirror. Mirrors are reflective glass, but it can also mean to copy or to be a copy, like mirroring behavior. So I started off with the classic, looking into a mirror, but one side is happy and one side is emo. Lol. I tried making an exact copy, like both of the mermaids have their hands up, but I couldn't figure it out. So I ended up just leaving the mermaid in the mirror, like suspended in the water instead. So it was more like a representation of the mermaid's for myself rather than a real-time reflection. It's a magic mirror, I guess. That note there says, Interstellar, don't let me leave moment. Basically, the idea was a mermaid is looking into her past self through this magic mirror, and she's begging herself not to go do whatever it is that hurt her. The next two are just variations of that idea, one from the other mermaid's perspective, and one set in a cave. For a background for this drawing, and I was thinking about underwater themes. There are a lot of underwater caves, like in the ocean out there, so I thought like magic mirrors would probably be in a spooky place like that. On a side note, have you guys seen those ocean cave diver videos? They freak me the hell out, to be honest. They're so beautiful, but the stress of having like limited oxygen and the fact that you're fighting the ocean's pressure at all times scares me. I have no idea how they do it. They're very brave, that's for sure. So anyway, I did try out other ideas too to make sure I was happy with that first idea. So one of them is just like the mermaid looking at herself in the mirror while holding it. The next one is based on another artwork I saw. A character is like looking at a spinning ballerina through a music box's mirror. I changed the ballerina to be a mermaid and the character to be a little girl. Again, I didn't end up using this because I didn't want to be basing my whole artwork on someone else's drawing, so I didn't end up using that. And that last one was like using a mirror as a portal into another world. I don't really like that, so I just moved on with that first idea. So before I chose to make this into a one-page comic, I did try one with the mermaids just in a void. I wanted to see if I liked the vibes before I changed it, but no, I didn't like it. So now we're just going to talk about the different ideas I had for the one-page comic. So for the next thumbnail, I tried doing an action shot in the panel at the top, the mermaids and the mirror in the middle, and a little box in the bottom left to show like the mermaid's sad face. I didn't like it, to be honest. It felt like too easy and it didn't really like flow right. I like the idea of the mermaid swimming through seaweed. It would add some movement to the piece, especially like near the top where it's like low-key kind of boring. So the next two ideas like start the same. I wanted to try different panels in the center of the image, one with her hands going to the mirror, and the other one was like an environmental shot and then her hands. I thought this would show that the mermaid swam a bit before she found the mirror, and it would make the story flow a little bit more. So that's what I chose. Anyway, let's move on to the line art. I started off with the borders. I wanted a hand-drawn look, so I didn't use any rulers to draw the boxes. Maybe I should have because I tried so many times to draw that line. Oh my god. I then outlined the background elements. I wanted to connect the background, so I used a flat color for the foreground stuff. I drew some corals, rocks, and seagrass so it would look full and interesting. Then I drew the mermaid for real, and I drew her like 4 times. I then tried to put the words "don't go" at the bottom, but I couldn't figure out a way to do it, so I just left the drawing without any words. Yes, like I was saying before, I'm not exactly the best with typography, and all this graphic design stuff is really hard for me, so I kind of just left it out. I used the blue color palette so the mermaid would stand out with her green colors. I also made sure that the mirrors were like a really super bright white so they would attract your attention. That's it for this drawing, so enjoy the reveal and let's move on to the next one. The last one for this video is Miyazaki. For those who don't know, this prompt is referencing Hayao Miyazaki, the artist who created Studio Ghibli and all the anime movies we've come to love, like Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, and Kiki's Delivery Service. So for the thumbnails in this piece, I drew a lot of inspiration from screenshots of movies. The first one is a mermaid enjoying the mountains. It was inspired by early scenes in Howl's Moving Castle, when Sophie first deals with her new curse, she goes up into the mountain and just enjoys the scenery. Personally, that's like one of my favorite parts of the movie. So, I wanted to try it out and see if I could fit in a mermaid somehow. Personally, when I think of Ghibli films, I think of windswept plains and pretty clouds. So coming up with a water-focused artwork in the Ghibli style was hard. It was hard for me, anyway. I drew one with a few mermaids like waving to a couple sailing past. This was inspired by a scene in Ponyo. I thought, these movies like often have kids exploring the world without their parents. So I ended up going with the last idea. 2 kids rowing the little boat on the ocean and a mermaid comes to greet them. I tried to draw the kids in the Ghibli style, but I'm not sure if I managed to get it right. They do look like kids, I think. I mean, I think they're pretty cute. I based the mermaid off Ponyo's mom as well. I gave the mermaid a white dress and pink hair, and I used a max of 3 colors so everything in the drawing looks like it blends together. And I liked rendering this piece. The water was really fun to do, even though by this point I didn't even care to emulate Ghibli style. I kind of just started going off in my own direction after I did the faces. But anyways, that's all I have to say for this one. Enjoy the rest of the speed paint and I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Did you like the design? I did spend a long time on them, so I hope you did like them. Are you gonna draw any mermaids? I hope this video inspires you to draw at least one mermaid. You might have more fun than you expect, so woo! And if you have any that you want to show me, tag me on Instagram. I'd love to see your designs. This is my handle, and yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I wish the best for you, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!